presenting North Alabama at its best. This is the Weekend Review featuring stories from the past 7 days as seen on Fox 54 News. Thanks as always for streaming with us on Fox 54 Plus. I'm Kenesha Dees. Coming up later in this half hour, we go into the studio of a sculptor who works in clay and bronze in this month's edition of Artfully North Alabama. Well, can you dig it? If you don't know what really lies beneath the ground, we'll explain how it can hurt you in the end. It's a celebrity gossip item that has baffled the shows this past week. Just what is singer Lana Del Rey doing in North Alabama? And we're taking a last call as not one, but two Huntsville brewpubs turn off the taps for the last time. But first, the days are dwindling down to a precious few. That's right, school is almost in session. Here are how kids, educators, and coaches are spending these last days before the school bell rings once more. Children start heading back to school next week, so now is the time to start transitioning them from summer to back to school mode. Start now by gauging how children are feeling about the new school year. Ask open-ended questions and listen. No matter what kids share, experts say it's important to validate and normalize their feelings, particularly during times of change. For example, if bedtimes have gotten later over the summer, licensed therapist Jody Baumstein says to inch the time back gradually.
Because if we set ourselves up from the beginning with something that's totally unrealistic, the kids aren't going to be really tired at that time. They might feel frustrated. You might feel frustrated.
And as everyone settles back into the school routine, Baumstein says to limit any unnecessary stressors like potty training, a sibling, or redoing a room. Focus on calm and normalcy before next week. Sending the kids back to school, especially for the first time, can be nerve-wracking, and it starts happening next week. Our Jasmine Bird tells us how Decatur City School Superintendent is helping to put families at ease.
Sending the kids back to school can fill some parents and students with a plethora of emotions.
You know, I'm a parent. We've all been through that first day of school jitters, particularly if you've got a preschool or kindergarten kid.
And if you're in this situation, don't worry, because Decatur City Schools Superintendent Michael Douglas has a solution.
Come into school, meet your teacher. You know, we're going to make you see what we do, but we want you to be involved. And if you have any apprehension about, you know, your teacher's classroom or the school they're going to, I would just say reach out to the principal.
So what else should parents and students know about this school year?
Well, first and foremost, we start August 3rd. We're excited about everybody coming back. The biggest thing that I've been stressing to parents is attendance. More often than not, when kids struggle, it's because they're not coming to school. I think COVID, we started some bad habits where we just weren't coming to school as much. So if you want your kid to be successful, I would just say make sure your kid's in school. We're going to do a great job of educating them.
There are also continuous measures in place to further ensure student safety this school year.
We put in, I like to call it the Disney system. We've got a detection system. All of our kids will walk through that at our high schools and middle schools, and it'll basically just ensure that, you know, the stuff we don't want coming in the school can't come in the school.
We're also being proactive in other ways, like
sometimes our kids make poor choices. We put in vape sensors in our bathrooms.
It's in the ceiling, so
if they take a puff, it goes off and we're notified.
And safety isn't just for inside the school walls.
With safety, it's obviously an intentional focus.
Schools should be safe spaces, and safety is at the forefront going into this school year and beyond for the Madison County school system.
Being former law enforcement before I came into education, the safety and security is something that's very important to me. As a matter of fact, the vision that I have for this district is a safe and secure environment for our staff and our students, where teaching and learning is paramount. We budgeted for 2 additional SROs, so that's going to put 13 of them are going to be funded by the Madison County Board of Education. The other 7 are funded by our Sheriff's Department, so that puts 20 SROs on there.
In addition to this, in a response to the ever-growing Madison County, the school system has been rezoning and reconfiguring some of their locations. As Superintendent Kubik says, having more people in the county and school safety are synonymous.
We're working on building a corridor that's going to connect New Hope High School's main building to the gymnasium, so the students won't have to go outside to go to the gym. for safety and security and purposes. We've built 5 new corridors, airlock chambers inside of various schools that didn't have them, so that there's a holding zone so people can't just get directly into the main building.
They've also widened the entryway to Meridianville Middle School to make it safer for families dropping off their kids and for travelers on the parkway. And they're working on building a new campus.
A new school out in north of 53 in the Tony area. We are working on a McKee project out there, which looks like we're right now it's planned for an intermediate school out there to help out with some of that growth.
Superintendent Kubik is looking forward to welcoming students back to campus this year and will continue to prioritize the safety of students and staff.
In the Madison County School System, we are taking steps on a daily basis to make sure that when that child is in our care, that we're providing the most safe and secure environment for them.
Well, kids return to the classroom starting next week, but before they head off, there's still a need to fill the #1 position for the people who get them there. Our Jasmine Bird tells us more about the current state of bus driver shortages.
Well, back to school time is almost here, and sometimes there's just one thing that you can't quite get enough of when it comes to heading back to school every year, and that is bus drivers. Let's take a look.
It's almost kind of a running, it's not a joke, but it's in the situation where among the bus people, we always are hiring.
But currently, Decatur City Schools Transportation Assistant Jamie Penley has good news.
We're in a pretty good place. We have all our routes filled. We even have what we call utility drivers, full-time drivers that come each day and they just assist on various routes. They don't have a designated route, but we're always looking for more drivers, aides as well.
Limestone County Schools Transportation Director Rusty Bates is in the same situation.
Currently, we are 7 positions short. These are full-time positions with full benefits with insurance.
Bates believes the current salary for bus drivers in the school system is also very good right now.
We're towards the top as far as school systems go. But when you start comparing, us to other industries, of course, we tend to struggle in that area, and that's not uncommon as far as schools. We've been dealing with that for years now.
And as it relates to ensuring safety, Penley shares that safety is their intentional focus.
We have conversations with our drivers every day. We just focus on them to be proactive, to be always mindful of anything out there, be patient. They're not anxious, but at the same time, anticipate. Always be mindful of any hazard.
Sometimes when preparing to head to college, you just don't know where to start. However, this summer, Huntsville City Schools college counselors are helping rising seniors prevent that with a college crash course. Our Jasmine Bird has more.
I mean, it's my first time, so I wouldn't know how to do it.
Choosing the right college, taking the ACT, filling out applications, essays, and meeting mandatory deadlines can all be a bit challenging for high school seniors. Just ask Grissom High School rising senior Ryan Ramos.
Sometimes some resources are not really easy to find unless you talk to someone that specializes in something like that.
Columbia High School rising senior Severo Daniel believes this crash course is very beneficial for multiple reasons, but the main...
It's just made the situation less stressful in a way, like just going through the steps one by one and making it easier all around for me to apply.
Huntsville City Schools District College Counselor Nancy Wolf says this course is all about helping students get a head start.
We like to do this during the summer. Most college applications open August 1st, and we want them to get an early start so they have plenty of time to follow through on other opportunities that come their way that might have deadlines.
And usually, one very common pattern Wolf notices every year is procrastination. So
many students and families are not aware of the constantly changing face of the college application process. If you're not in it all the time, you really don't know the funds that are out there to help with college expenses or the changing admissions requirements.
And before you know it, it will be time to rev up those Friday night lights, and high school football will be in full swing in and around North Alabama. And today, for the first time in several years, a media day was held for all the teams from Madison County. Tonight, we'll hear from the Huntsville City School participants, and we'll start off with May Jemison and Columbia, who both have new head coaches after winless seasons. Rico White takes over for the Jemison Jags after a 5-year stint with Anniston. He did lead the Bulldogs to the playoffs in all 5 seasons, including a trip to the state semifinals in 2019. Meanwhile, at Columbia, the Eagles will be led by first-time head coach Sean Watson, who played collegiate football at both Baylor and Jacksonville State. He's been an assistant at Grissom, Albertville, and Clay Chalkville in the past.
We got athletes, that's the biggest thing. At first, outside looking in, you don't know what you have. But, man, when you get there, you see what you have, man, your eyes get big. So for the most part, man, if we can get our athletes the ball, we can be very successful.
It reminded me so much of Anniston when I first got to Anniston. You have great athletes, you got great kids, but they just need that structure and discipline and someone that believes in them, that love them. Learn to love each other and let's play together and have success.
All right, as for the other Huntsville City Schools, Lee and Grissom are heading into year number 3 with head coaches Irvin McGuire and Rich Dutton, respectively. Both hope to get back to the state playoffs after missing out on last season. And at Huntsville High, Mark Fleetwood enters year number 7 on Billy Watkins Street, and the Crimson Panthers aim to build off of their first playoff appearance in 5 seasons.
To beat more than one ranked team and to get past the first round and take it farther than we did and don't look at it just to be in the playoffs. Let's try to win the region. That's something that hadn't been done in a long time. So that's sort of a goal that we have.
They've learned this new offense we're running very quickly, and we have had some players that have been trouble in the past that showed up every day, and they're starting to nurture and bring up players as with their energy and their the way that they're attacking this season. So that maturation process has been fun to see.
Definitely this is a group that can get us to the playoffs. Like I said, we were young last year. They had to learn how to win games as opposed to losing them. And me as a coach, I had to grow and learn how to put them in better positions to be successful, especially late in the game. So this group right here, they've tried and tested, and I think they're ready for the playoffs.
To show you everything that went down. Now, Tanner might be a team that you may have more incentive to compete for this year than simply outperforming this last season's record. 2023 marks 10 years since their last state championship, and they might have the piece to make this a memorable anniversary season. The Rattlers return senior wide receiver Skylar Thompson, a 4-sport athlete who was an all-state selection in Class 2A as a sophomore. Head coach Oscar Brooks spoke highly about his go-to target.
He's grown a lot since his sophomore year. He's a lot stronger, smarter. He's always had a very high IQ on the football field. He gets people lined up, even on the defensive side, that sophomore year, because we had a lot of guys that sometimes couldn't line up correctly, and he would take control of that. He's already going to make plays at receiver, so it's great to have him as an asset because we can always just throw it up to him, and he'll go make a play for us.
I'm just trying to improve more as a character standpoint, and just improving on my defensive side of the ball. Coming to tackle and wanting to do things like that. Really getting in the weight room, improving there, and that's really what I've been trying to improve on.
Across the river in Decatur, 9 teams making their way to Decatur Baptist Church for the annual Decatur Morgan County Football Media Day. For the first time in 2+ decades, there will be new leadership at Decatur High School. Jerry Adcock retiring recently and former Auburn Tiger Aaron Savage taking over. Savage says that most Decatur High School football traditions will remain intact, but for the most part, he just wants his guys to have fun on Friday nights.
So Friday nights will be just a reflection of what we've done since February, right? A reflection of what we've done Monday through Thursday. There's nothing like game day, but again, that's just the end-all be-all to that week. So it'll be good to have a chance to compete against somebody else and really let our guys get out there and shine.
All right, here are some key dates for the upcoming high school football season. During the first week of August is when practice begins for all of our local teams and teams across the state. Week 0 of the football season beginning on Thursday, August the 24th, and Friday the 25th. Speaking of the 25th, our debut episode of First Down Friday Night will begin at 10 p.m. on the dot. You can see it right here only on Fox 54.
Got Fox 54 Plus for Roku and Fire TV. Watch local newscasts live or on your schedule. Plus local exclusives like the Valley's Top Teacher Series. Fox 54 Plus. Live, local, and always on.
This artist's work we're about to see, well, at least for me, is unlike anything I've ever seen. We go into the studio of a sculptor by the name of Everett Cox. You might have even got a peep into his studio while walking around Huntsville's Low Mill. Here's a look at his creative process. In Everett Cox's studio,
I don't idealize my figures. I sculpt what I see.
Sculpting.
And I will sculpt anybody who will come in here and give me the time.
Is more than an art form.
These are all feminine figures, right? But the process to make these is very masculine.
It's the process.
That's the fascinating part of this.
That's an art.
Is something that can be so
in itself.
So dirty and hard and heavy and loud can become something like this.
It's also his philosophy.
And that's part of the yin and yang.
That yin and yang, comprised of contrasting mediums. The bronze is his finishing touch. It's quite a spectacle.
The most durable medium is bronze. It can go indoors, outdoors. It stands the test of time.
But the casting is not so durable. It's more so delicate and made from another medium.
Clay is not going to stand like this. It's just not going to do it. So you have to make a skeleton to hold it. We call that an armature.
Everett uses his hands to make hands and to make figures.
I'm sculpting real life. You know, and what I'm saying is real life is just as beautiful as what you expect anywhere else, right? If you'll just take the time to look. And I just gravitated to sculpture because art's in the blood, I suppose.
His love for creating is modeled after the figures in his life.
My mother and grandmother were painters. Music was my parents' muse. You know, they were both musicians. My dad was an engineer.
And that humming sound you've heard in the background.
I made that fan.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I didn't make the blades, but I made the fan.
In Everett Cox's studio, could he ever stop doing what he loves?
Oh no. What would I do? I'd be doing this if I stopped.
He is absolutely incredible. Such a sight to see, rather. Everett told me it can take him up to 50 hours to complete a sculpture.
It's summer, and many may use this time to do some landscaping, and that can require some digging. But before you pull out those shovels, there is a law you should get familiar with.
You don't know where those lines are. If you dig into a water line, you get a mess because obviously the water's going to leak.
Yard work can be fun, but what you don't know can be life-threatening.
If you've got a shovel and you come in contact with an electric line, you break through the conduit and come in contact with that can be deadly. It can cause life-threatening injuries. Natural gas, you can cause an explosion if that gas begins to escape. So if you've got those lines marked, you're going to want to dig away from them.
Alabama law requires everyone, including homeowners, to contact Alabama 811 at least 2 working days prior to the start of any digging project.
So the biggest thing is the reason 811 is there, that is a statewide service that will coordinate what we call line locates for all local utilities. So if you live in the city of Decatur and you call 811, they'll notify us to come out and identify any underground electric lines, natural gas lines, water or sewer lines. But then they'll also contact other utilities.
And doing so blindly can cost you, literally.
If you damage those facilities and we have to come out and fix them, then that bill is going to be passed along to the homeowner. Plus, you could interrupt service to all your neighbors and yourself.
But making that call can help you plan a little better.
If you were going to plant a plant and it's right there where that line is, you need to move the plant somewhere else. Or if you're putting up a mailbox and you see the lines right there in the right of way, move it over so that you're not anywhere near those lines. The reason that they were organized and created was to be able to get that information to consumers so they know where those lines are and they're not putting themselves in danger and not destroying the infrastructure that's out there.
Food deserts are almost common here in North Alabama.
We have, not a few, but several food deserts throughout North Alabama, and especially in low-income areas, in rural areas.
Today, Central North Alabama Health Services, along with the Food Bank of North Alabama and Feeding America, help address food insecurity with the Drive-thru pantry. Cars lined the Huntsville Family Health Center to take advantage.
We are here for a drive-thru food pantry event where we are aiming to just give out food to anyone who needs it. That includes general food items, but also certain food items that are conducive to promoting well-being with certain health conditions.
The idea is to address food insecurity because food insecurity is directly related to diet-related illnesses. So today we're giving out fresh produce, we're giving out food boxes that are tailored towards people with diabetes, with heart issues, and then we're just giving out, overall healthy food boxes for the general population.
Those conditions can be traced to not having the adequate food supply within the community.
When someone has food insecurity, when a household is experiencing food insecurity, it can impact them in other ways, also with their health. I know, it can be very stressful on that household, but also it can badly affect their actual physical health.
And events like these help the community achieve a healthier life.
The response from the community in this event and previous events has been very positive. People are actually very grateful for the support that is offered with these type of events. I think that today is indicative that people need these type of events and that they are important, and these drive-through food pantries are much needed.
The Yellowhammer Fund launched a reproductive health bus tour this summer, and today the group made a pit stop in Huntsville. In partnership with Huntsville's United Women of Color, the Yellowhammer Fund summer bus provided free diapers, safer sex kits, pads, tampons, pregnancy tests, and more. Members of the tour staff say it's important to know some people within the community have trouble accessing and affording these goods at their local grocery store.
It's expensive to take care of yourself and your health in any aspect. So anything that we can do to just take that load off of people.
Not just emergency contraception or safer sex kits, but also economic empowerment.
We're just so honored to be asked to be known in the community as a place that's safe.
The summer bus has already been to a few cities in Alabama and is scheduled to make a stop in Gunnersville next Saturday.
Keeping businesses afloat after the pandemic has been a tall task for many, and a local brewery, Salty Nut, has made the tough choice to close its doors. Our Ken McCoy had a chance to hear from owners. Here's what they had to say.
Guys, Salty Nut Brewery opened its doors more than 10 years ago, becoming a valuable asset to the brewing community here in Huntsville. But unfortunately, like most good things, they will soon have to say goodbye.
Yeah, it sucks.
Saying goodbye is never easy.
Salty Nut Brewery is definitely a brewery that was just established for people to come hang out, be themselves, and we tried to go against the norm a little bit, be different from any other brewery.
With its opening in 2011, its story tells of two guys just trying to have some fun.
We had been going since 2008, 2009, and we were just at an event that we were doing out in Madison, and Brent came up with, I believe it was Daniel and one other person. Yeah. And they just, hey, we're Brent and Daniel, and we're starting a brewery. And I was like asking for advice and that kind of stuff. And I give the same advice I give to everybody that asks me about starting a brewery is do not start a brewery, because it's hard. It's very hard work, but it's fun, right? And these guys were all about fun, and they had some creative ideas, and they did a really good job.
But while keeping business afloat, fun sometimes had a downside.
We started from nothing, right? I mean, Old Town was here and that was it, and we couldn't have tap rooms. So we had to actually go to the state legislature to actually get laws changed to allow us to do the things we needed to do to survive. And we slowly worked with the state to allow us to do these things, so we created an entire industry out of nothing.
But the support of the customers made it worth it.
They're amazing. We have had people come to us that have been solid customers since the day we opened. Right, you start off, you're very small, you're more like family as you grow. We always supported local. We wanted local musicians to come out and play. We had tons of people that are up and coming or just kind of want to express their music to the customers come out.
Unfortunately, the good times will soon be a memory.
With the times that we're in, unfortunately, the insurance, the brewery insurance, basically now you can get 1/10 of the coverage that I could get last year for the same price. And there's only two real providers in the state that offer insurance to us, and one of them canceled our insurance because we don't have food at this location. So to go with the other policy, it was going to cost way too much money to get us through to the end of the year.
But they are thankful for the continued support over the years.
Thank you to all the patrons that have come out over the years. It's been a
fantastic. 10, 12 years. When we first started, we had no idea that it would become what it is today, and I'm just appreciative for everyone that's come out, and I hope everyone enjoyed the beer that we made, the atmosphere that we provided, and maybe we'll be again someday. Fingers crossed.
Everyone has their passions, and sometimes it can be hard to find people who share similar interests, especially for more nerdy things. That's why at Nerdy Noel's Midsummer Market, it's a day for nerds from all over North Alabama.
Nerd culture, geek culture, whatever pop culture you want to call it, it's very strong here.
To come together.
We don't get a lot of chances to like be ourselves or to be open with ourselves and stuff. A lot of people don't get that, and I feel like this, it gives us like a little safe haven.
An event that's usually held in the winter became so popular, Carrie Comey, the organizer, decided this year to also have it in the summer.
It's really important, especially to vendors and to shoppers, to have something that's like the kind of thing that we're looking for our nerdy friends, for our nerdy family, and for ourselves. That's, you know, it's a very specified kind of thing. So there wasn't really anything like that around here.
Independent artists and small businesses showcasing their talents and connecting with one another.
It's just great being around other artists and people that enjoy the same nerdy stuff that you do. That's probably the best part about it, is, you know, having some people come up to the booth and just be like, oh my God, it's Cusco's Poison, and just being really excited about that. That's why I keep doing it.
With unique earrings, stickers, prints, you name it.
Have anime, sci-fi, fantasy. If it's geeky, I got a bit of it. That's why we're Geeky Bits.
And one-of-a-kind shops like High Ground Hobbies.
It's kind of a melding of your traditional kind of nerdy hobby shop, which is like board games and miniatures and card games and Magic the Gathering and Pokemon, and then take a restaurant and smash them together.
An environment where creativity and authenticity thrives. Oh yeah, and this market is not just for nerds, it's for the rabbits too.
Now we have our own Huntsville Rabbit Rescue, and we're able to support them and get them a lot of donations and fosters and volunteers and stuff. So it's important to me to be able to give back to that part of the community as well.
A place for everyone.
It feels good. It's like a big family.
Well, she's not down on the West Coast. No, that's Lana Del Rey down in Florence, Alabama, seen at a Waffle House of all places. The pop star was seen in a Waffle House employee outfit, taking pics with fans, singing with patrons, and even appearing to work behind the counter. There's been no real confirmation for why Lana was at the Florence Waffle House, but those online joke she could be exploring a new career path.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Oh my gosh, I think if I saw her, I would be so excited. That's at all places too.
Yeah, well, I do like her music. I don't like her music as much as you do, but I am still obsessed with the song that she did for The Great Gatsby, Young and Beautiful.
That one is a classic. Yeah, and Summertime Sadness is always good for
I feel like that was the one that like really got her,
blew up, and yeah, absolutely. I know, she's the best.
And that about does it for the Week in Review, but with school almost back in session, we want to remind you that we are always on the lookout for the Valley's top teacher. That's right, we are looking to profile the educator in your child's life that is making a difference. It's easy to tell us about them. Just go to the top teacher section of fox54.com and fill out the form. In the meantime, see our class of alumni. The Valley's top teacher class of 22-23 is available to stream on Fox 54 Plus, as well as our website and YouTube channels. Until next time, I'm Kenesha Dees. Thanks for seeing North Alabama at its best here on the Weekend.